You can flood the entire map with the good, deep water. For a Mosasaurus lagoon, a river cruise, a swamp, everything you want. Is that common knowledge? I don't think that's common knowledge. I only figured this out last weekend and tested it today to confirm, so I'm either really dumb or I'm the first to figure this out and I'm very, very smart. It could go either way. But at the very least, if I didn't know, likely some or one of you didn't know either, so I wanted to share this discovery with you because it opens up so much in terms of park building. On some maps, we have water, quote unquote, outside of the default buildable area. Off the top of my head, that's Mosasaurus, Muerta, Toho Research Facility, Pena, Sorna 1993, and Sanctuary. Thanks to the expanded islands mod by the Toho Society, we can access this water. And what this water really is, which is why, quotation marks are kind of appropriate here, it's just a texture at a certain elevation. Below it, it's just regular terrain. It doesn't function as water, but it looks 10 times better than the placeable water in the game. And because you can adjust the depth of it by raising or lowering the ground below it, and because you can build in it and have tours go through it, you can do tons of cool stuff with it. And you better believe I will be doing tons of cool stuff with it now that I've figured this out. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see all of that. Normally, before this epiphany, you have a limited amount of that water texture to work with, because when you lower the terrain around it, you see that at a certain point the texture stops in a quite unattractive way. But it makes sense. Why would there be this texture on the map where it's not needed? We're not even supposed to have been able to access this anyway. So what I always did was I stopped at that point and just worked with what I have. But as I said, that is quite limited at the end of the day, especially when you have a lot of creative ideas. But how the thought popped into my head that you could flood the entire map with this water texture is because when you block off a piece of that water texture from the rest of the ocean, that bit of water disappears when you reload into the map. The water texture needs to be attached to the ocean. If you block it off with terrain and then reload the save file, that part dries up. So I thought, maybe it works the other way too. Maybe anything that is below that level and attached to the ocean will flood. And yes, it does. All you have to do is lower the entire map, flatten it to below water level, and then save that, and then load into that save file you created. You'll see that the water texture has spread throughout the entire map, giving you a maximum amount of deep water to work with. I think this is super cool. It opens up so many ways to be creative, and more importantly, to give space to being creative. It's kind of comparable to, we have the normal maps with the default limit to the buildable area, and that's fine, we can get creative, but we've always wanted more space, right? We've always wanted more space to build. And it's the same with that water texture. We already had access to it thanks to the Toho Society mod, but it wasn't enough space to work with, and now we can create that extra space. We can create that extra water. Obviously, you're not gonna leave the entire map flooded. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but what I think is cool is you can add in islands, or you can make a massive river that snakes through your park and have a tour go through it, like the river cruise. And all that stuff you could already do, of course, like I said, but now with way more space to do it. From Mosasaurus lagoons to swamps to flooded plains. I am super excited to play around with this, and I hope you are too. Just to make it clear, obviously, you need the Expanded Islands mod by the Toho Society, which is linked down below, and it helps to have the Enhanced Terrain Tools mod by Harlequin's Ego, or the Ultimate Mixed Eras mod by Kaiodenic, which comes with an updated version of the Enhanced Terrain Tools mod included in it. Now, like I said, it is very important to remember that each body of water has to remain connected to the ocean, or on Toconyo's case, that it's connected to one of the 4 separate original bodies of water there. So if you want to do a lagoon or a swamp or a lake or whatever you want to do, you do have to dig a tiny canal out to the ocean. Otherwise, it dries up when you reload into the save file. That is very important to keep in the back of your mind as you work on your park, but you can totally make that look natural by just making that trench into a natural river, or if you want, you can make it a super tiny canal and hide that with dense foliage. I really hope you're going to have fun with this tip. I just wanted to share it with you in case this is something that you haven't figured out yet. At the very least, I'm sure at least one of you didn't know this, and then this video is just for you. Enjoy. I know I will. If you don't know about this and you think other people don't know either, give the video a thumbs up to help it in the algorithm so it can spread to more people and they can enjoy a lot more water to work with. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game. For a Mosasaurus lagoon, a river cruise.